Dear aunts, uncles, brothers, sisters, and dear friends, I am truly happy to see you once again in this little home, where every message I share is prepared with deep respect and love for the elderly. Here, we do not talk about complicated or lofty things. Instead, we simply learn together how to live in good health, with peace of mind and plenty of energy, even after turning 60. Have you ever thought that a plate of vegetables, which seems healthy, could silently be pushing your heart closer to danger for a long time? Green vegetables have been considered the foundation of a good and healthy diet. But sadly, according to recent studies from reputable institutions like the National Institutes of Health in the United States and the American Heart Association, certain types of vegetables, when consumed in the wrong way, or if they are not suitable for the elderly, may actually increase blood pressure, cause irregular heart rhythms, or interact dangerously with heart medications. Many people with heart conditions believe they are eating very healthily. They cut down on fatty meats and avoid fried foods. Yet, their heart health keeps getting worse every day without understanding why. And when searching for the cause, no one expects that the culprit might be hiding in those seemingly harmless vegetable dishes. This message today is shared with deep sincerity. I would like to talk about 5 common vegetables that older adults should stop eating, or at least be extremely cautious with, because they may be quietly harming the heart day by day. But please do not worry at the end. I will also suggest some vegetables that are both delicious and truly good for the heart, so you can continue to enjoy each meal with peace of mind and good health. So, which vegetables have become a silent threat? The answer may surprise you. 1. Red chili pepper. No one can deny that for many people, especially those living in the countryside or who have lived through hard times. A meal without a bit of spicy chili feels like it is missing the true flavor of life. A small red chili pepper, a bowl of fish sauce with crushed chili, or a pot of soup with a gentle kick of heat may seem like simple condiments, yet they can bring back a whole world of memories. That is why many aunts and uncles, even after turning 60, still find it hard to give up their daily habit of eating spicy food. However, the unfortunate truth is that at this age, our bodies, and especially our hearts, no longer respond the same way they did when we were younger. According to cardiologists, red chili peppers, especially the very hot varieties, can strongly stimulate the sympathetic nervous system once they enter the body. As a result, the heart rate increases, blood pressure rises suddenly, and the blood vessels constrict. For younger individuals, these reactions usually do not pose much harm, but for older adults whose cardiovascular systems are already weakened, with hardened artery walls and reduced elasticity, each such reaction places additional stress on an already tired heart. Capsaicin, the compound responsible for the spicy taste in chili, is like a double-edged sword. While it has certain benefits such as aiding digestion and warming the body, when consumed excessively or by those with underlying heart conditions, it forces the heart to work faster and places heavy pressure on the blood vessels. More than just increasing heart rate and blood pressure, regular consumption of spicy food has also been shown to contribute to chronic inflammation in the vascular system, which is a hidden risk factor for heart failure, stroke, or sudden cardiac events. Another danger is the sense of getting used to the spice over time, which makes many people believe that their bodies have already adapted. But in reality, every time the heart is forced to beat harder due to stimulation, it suffers a bit more damage. These injuries may not be noticeable immediately, but over time they accumulate and can lead to serious consequences. So, what should you do if you are already used to eating spicy food? Is it necessary to completely avoid it? I would say not necessarily. The important thing is to gradually reduce the amount. Choose milder chili varieties, or replace them with other ingredients that offer delicious flavor without harming the heart. For example, you can use sautéed garlic, ginger, shallots, black pepper, or lime juice. These not only enhance the flavor of your meals, but also support digestion and help regulate blood pressure more gently. A good meal does not need to be overly spicy to be tasty. What truly matters is that after the meal, your heart still beats steadily, your body feels light, and your mind remains at peace. So, If you have loved the spicy flavor your whole life, now is the time to also love your own heart by giving it a bit more gentleness and moderation each day. 2. Raw sprouts. Dear aunts and uncles, in recent years, we have often heard much praise about sprouts and raw bean sprouts as an essential part of a healthy diet. On television, in newspapers, or in cooking programs, people constantly emphasize the benefits of eating raw vegetables, especially young and fresh sprouts like mung bean sprouts, soybean sprouts, and barley sprouts. Those fresh green images easily make us believe that eating raw sprouts is doing something very good for our health. And in truth, sprouts do contain many live enzymes, vitamins, and minerals. But what many people do not notice is that the growing conditions of sprouts are exactly the perfect environment for harmful bacteria to thrive. Sprouts need warm temperatures and high humidity to grow, and in that moist environment, bacteria such as E. coli, Salmonella, or Listeria can multiply rapidly and cling to the young shoots without being visible to the naked eye. Young people with strong immune systems may only experience mild stomach pain or diarrhea for a few days when they eat contaminated raw sprouts. But for older adults, whose immune systems have weakened over time, the ability to fight off bacteria is much slower and weaker. A small stomach ache can quickly turn into acute enteritis, dehydration, or even lead to blood infections or endocarditis, which is inflammation of the inner lining of the heart. It is truly ironic that a food we believe to be clean, fresh, and green could cause such serious harm, but that does not mean we must completely remove sprouts from our lives. The issue does not lie in the vegetable itself, but in how we use it. For older adults, the most important thing is to always cook sprouts thoroughly before eating. A quick stir-fry, light boiling, or dipping in hot water for just a few seconds is enough to kill most harmful bacteria, while still preserving some of the crispness and characteristic flavor. Instead of adding raw sprouts to a salad, we can use them in a mixed stir-fry dish or toss them into noodles or vermicelli after cooking. At this age, eating clean does not only mean washing food well, it also means understanding clearly and cooking it properly. Sprouts can still be a good friend if we know how to treat them carefully and wisely, just like the way we have learned to care for our health after a lifetime of hard work. 3. Raw garlic. If there is one food that older adults everywhere trust as a natural remedy, it is garlic. For many aunts and uncles, eating a few raw garlic cloves each morning, or swallowing them whole like medicine, has become an essential daily habit. Garlic is seen as a heaven-sent medicine, believed to lower blood fat, reduce blood pressure, cleanse the blood vessels, and prevent heart disease. Folk traditions, ancient medicine books, and even modern science have all mentioned these benefits. However, just like everything in life, no matter how good something may be, it must be used in the right dose, the right way, and at the right time. Raw garlic, once it enters the body, acts to thin the blood and reduce platelet aggregation. This is especially helpful in preventing the formation of blood clots. But for those who are already taking blood thinners or aspirin, this becomes a hidden danger. When garlic and blood-thinning medications are present in the bloodstream at the same time, the thinning effect is intensified. This can prevent blood from clotting properly when needed. As a result, even minor accidents, like bumping into a table edge or hitting the hand against a door, may lead to large bruises, prolonged bleeding, or even internal bleeding such as stomach bleeding, brain hemorrhage, or bleeding in the organs. There have been cases of patients arriving at the hospital after hours of continuous nosebleeds or passing black stool without realizing that the cause was eating too much raw garlic every day. Moreover, raw garlic can cause blood pressure to drop suddenly for those already taking medication to manage high blood pressure. Adding raw garlic daily may cause their pressure to fall too quickly and uncontrollably. This can lead to dizziness, fatigue, lightheadedness, or even fainting. When blood cannot reach the brain or the heart in time, the consequences are very serious, especially for older adults with existing heart conditions. The danger here does not come from garlic being harmful, but from the fact that it is very strong, and that strength must be used properly, especially when the body is no longer what it used to be. Many older adults believe they are choosing a healthier path by avoiding Western medicine and trusting in natural remedies, but they may unknowingly fall into a hidden trap behind the two words folk medicine. So how can we continue to receive the benefits of garlic without causing harm? I would say that garlic, once cooked, becomes much gentler. When sautéed in oil, cooked with vegetables, or added to soups, garlic still retains most of its antioxidants while significantly reducing its irritating effects and strong blood-thinning ability. Additionally, it is very important to always consult a doctor if you are taking heart medications before regularly including raw garlic in your diet. Old age is a time to live gently, peacefully, and with clarity. Garlic can still be a good friend if we do not love it in an extreme way. And as the elders used to say, even the best medicine can become poison if taken at the wrong time. 4. Spinach. If you have ever watched those old cartoons, you may still remember the image of Popeye the Sailor. Whenever he felt weak, he would open a can of spinach, take a gulp, and instantly become incredibly strong. That image helped make spinach a symbol of strength and health. There is no denying that spinach is very rich in nutrients. It contains a good amount of iron, calcium, vitamins A and C, and especially vitamin K, which plays an important role in blood clotting and maintaining bone health. However, this high level of vitamin K can be a serious problem for older adults, especially those who are taking blood thinners like warfarin. This is a medication often prescribed after heart-related events such as heart attacks, strokes, or atrial fibrillation. This is something not many people know. When taking blood thinners, doctors always advise patients to control their intake of vitamin K. This is because vitamin K works in the opposite way to blood thinners. It helps the blood to clot. If someone who is on medication suddenly eats a lot of spinach, the increased level of vitamin K may reduce the effect of the medicine. This can cause the blood to clot again and lead to a stroke or heart attack. What makes this even more worrying is that there may be no clear symptoms. The person might still feel fine and go about their daily life normally. Then suddenly, a severe headache, a minor stroke, or unexpected chest pain occurs. At that moment, it is hard to connect the cause with something they ate, and even harder to realize that the spinach salad from that morning was to blame. Some people believe that the solution is to completely avoid spinach, but that is not necessary. The issue is not total avoidance, but managing the amount and keeping it consistent. If a person normally does not eat spinach, then suddenly eating a large amount can upset the balance in the body. On the other hand, if you eat a small and steady amount each week, the body can adjust, as long as the doctor is informed and able to adjust the medication dose accordingly. In addition, the way spinach is prepared also affects the amount of vitamin K. Cooked spinach has less impact than when eaten raw. Therefore, if you want to include this vegetable in your meals, you can add it to soups or stir-fry it with mushrooms or minced meat, instead of using it raw in a salad. The story of spinach is a clear example that no food is entirely good or entirely bad. Everything depends on the amount, how it is used, and each person's health condition. That is why. Instead of following common advice like the more vegetables, the better. Older adults need to listen to their own bodies. Most importantly, they should talk to their doctors whenever there are changes in their diet. At this age, living healthily is not just about choosing delicious food, but about choosing food that fits your body. And sometimes, just a little knowledge at the right time is enough to protect your heart for many more peaceful years. 5. Pickled cucumber. For many aunts and uncles, pickled cucumber may be a dish deeply rooted in family meals, from the simple meals of the old days to the more modern family tables today. A small plate of crunchy, slightly sour pickled cucumber has always been an appealing side dish. Easy to eat and perfect with rice, it helps reduce the greasiness of meat dishes and makes a humble meal more flavorful. However, after the age of 60, the goal is no longer just to eat tasty food, but to eat in a way that does not burden the heart. Sadly, that familiar plate of pickled cucumber may be a hidden sodium trap that many people do not notice. Pickled vegetables, especially those fermented for a long time or made in the traditional way, contain extremely high amounts of salt, According to health organizations such as the World Health Organization and the American Heart Association, the maximum daily salt intake for older adults should be about 1,500 milligrams. Yet, just a few small pieces of pickled cucumber may already contain between 600 to 1,000 milligrams of sodium, which is nearly 2/3 of the recommended daily limit. And this is just one small part of the meal, not counting fish sauce, soy sauce, or other salty dishes. Salt, or sodium, is an essential mineral for the body, but when consumed in excess, it causes the body to retain water in the blood, increasing blood volume and placing great pressure on the blood vessel walls, which leads to high blood pressure. Chronic high blood pressure forces the heart to work harder, causes the heart walls to thicken, stiffens the blood vessels, and increases the risk of heart failure. Stroke, or cerebral vascular accidents. There are patients who come to the doctor with uncontrollable high blood pressure, even though they have been taking their medication regularly and avoiding greasy foods. But when asked more carefully about their eating habits, they realize that they still eat a few slices of pickled cucumber or a bit of pickled mustard greens with every meal. They did not think that those small bites were the reason why their blood pressure kept rising. As we age, kidney function declines, and the ability to filter sodium also weakens. This makes older adults more likely to experience swelling, fatigue, headaches, and trouble sleeping, all of which are consequences of consuming too much salt. Yet salt does not have a distinctive taste like sugar, which is easy to recognize. Many foods that seem mild may actually contain large amounts of hidden sodium in the marinades. Dipping sauces, canned goods, and especially in pickled vegetables. So does this mean that older adults should completely avoid pickled cucumber? I would say not necessarily, especially if you truly enjoy its flavor. But instead of eating it every day, it would be better to limit it to once a week, and only in small amounts. Also, try to pickle vegetables at home using a moderate amount of salt, without preservatives or artificial sweeteners. In addition, instead of depending on salt to create a savory taste, we can use natural seasonings like lime juice, ginger, shallots, sautéed garlic, Vietnamese coriander, or rice vinegar. These not only enhance flavor, but are also better for digestion and blood pressure. Changing eating habits is not always easy, but your heart will thank you for every small step you take on the journey to better health. 6. Vegetables that support a healthy heart. After reviewing some familiar vegetables that may quietly put pressure on the heart, you may now be wondering, so what should I eat? Which vegetables are truly good for heart health after the age of 60? The answer does not lie in expensive ingredients or complicated diets. It comes from simple, easy to find, and easy to digest vegetables that are full of nutrients to protect your heart, especially now when it needs gentle care more than ever. First, we must mention broccoli. This vegetable is rich in antioxidants, vitamin C fiber, and especially sulforaphane, a compound known to reduce inflammation in the blood vessels. When lightly steamed, broccoli retains most of its nutrients and becomes easy to digest, which helps reduce strain on the digestive and cardiovascular systems. Next is sweet potato, a humble root vegetable that contains a high amount of potassium. Potassium helps regulate blood pressure by balancing the amount of sodium in the body. Sweet potatoes are also high in fiber, which helps control blood sugar levels and maintain healthy blood vessels. A soft baked sweet potato in the morning or afternoon can help fill your stomach and support your heart at the same time. Steamed or roasted carrots are also an excellent choice. Carrots contain a high amount of beta-carotene, which helps protect the blood vessel walls from oxidation and reduces the risk of plaque buildup that causes atherosclerosis. Moreover, their natural sweetness can help reduce the need for added sugar in meals. Kale, when thoroughly cooked, provides a large amount of soluble fiber, a moderate level of vitamin K and plant compounds that help reduce inflammation in the cardiovascular system. For older adults, kale can be gently stir-fried or added to vegetable soups. It is both easy to eat and beneficial for health. In addition, cooked ripe tomatoes are a rich source of lycopene, an antioxidant that helps lower bad cholesterol and prevent coronary artery disease. When tomatoes are cooked thoroughly, the lycopene becomes more active. That is why tomato soup, tomato sauce, or stewed tomatoes are very good options to consider. Lastly, beans such as mung beans, red beans, and lentils should appear regularly in your diet. These legumes are rich in plant-based protein, fiber, and potassium, which help regulate blood pressure and reduce cholesterol levels. A bowl of bean soup or lentil stew at dinner is not only easy on the stomach, but also a valuable gift for the heart. One important reminder is that not all green vegetables are automatically good. What matters is choosing vegetables that suit the body after the age of 60, cooking them properly, and eating in reasonable portions. Your heart does not need a harsh diet. It needs stability, gentleness, and consistency every day. A simple meal with boiled vegetables, roasted roots, and a small portion of beans may provide more long-lasting protection than any supplement ever could. Dear aunts and uncles, the heart is a truly remarkable organ. From the moment we are born, it beats quietly with every breath we take, asking for nothing, never resting, never complaining, by the age of 60. Each person's heart has already beaten more than 2 billion times, a number beyond imagination. And yet, at times, we unintentionally take it for granted, forgetting that the heart also needs love, care, and proper rest. Through the previous sections, I hope I have helped you realize that not every vegetable is necessarily good for our health, especially after the age of 60. What was once beneficial when we were young may become a burden to an aging heart if we do not make the proper adjustments. Raw garlic, raw sprouts, spinach, red chili, or pickled cucumber, each has its own value, but can also pose a risk if used the wrong way or without understanding our own bodies. But the good news is that it is never too late to change. Your heart, though tired from the passing years, still has time to recover. It can still beat steadily and strongly for many more years. There is no need to force yourself into strict diets or completely give up your favorite dishes. Just a small change each day, a more balanced meal, a smarter food choice, reading labels more carefully before eating can already protect your heart quietly and steadily. I have met many aunts and uncles who used to say, "I am old now. What's the point of changing?" But after understanding things more clearly and adjusting their eating habits, they felt lighter in their bodies. Their blood pressure became more stable, their sleep improved, and their spirits were brighter. They realized that living healthily is not a distant goal. It is simply the result of small, repeated actions each day, carried out with patience and self-love. So, starting today, let us look again at our meals. Ask yourself, does this dish make my heart happy? Is that one silently wearing down my body? From there, every small change will slowly build a new life, one where the heart breathes easier, lives longer, and feels more joyful. I wish you always good health, peaceful living, and that every heartbeat becomes a quiet thank you to yourself.